Good evening, it being April 21st, 2022. This is the Planning Commission. Is there a motion to open the meeting?
I make a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, be kind enough to introduce yourself, starting with our wonderful planner,
Doug Pimentel, Town Planner.
Mark Centerizio.
Brian Deschamps.
Rick Ellis.
With that, this meeting is being audio and videotaped. You can watch it on YouTube tomorrow. And with that, I will hand it over to you.
All right, so we'll begin with new business. We'll start with the discussion A&R plan of land, 43 Frank Street, Acushnet, Assessors Map 12, parcel 5.2, represented by Zenith Land Surveyors LLC, New Bedford, Mass. Project proponent is DPM Development Corp. The plans and accompanying documentation are available for inspection at the Town Clerk's Office, Parting Ways Building, 130 Main Street, first floor.
Good evening, gentlemen. Joe Normanelli, Zenith Land Surveyors, here representing Danny Manise, who has purchased 43 Frank Street. It's a small ranch. He is looking to...
Is that what these are? here?
Yeah, let me pass those out. It's an extremely large lot that we're taking a small triangle piece out of. He went to apply for a permit with Jim Merritt. They're looking to put a garage and a small bump out addition on the back of the existing house at 43 Frank Street. It doesn't conform to the percentage of lot coverage with the additional
This, yeah.
bump out in garage square footage. So Jim had mentioned that if we could take a piece of property from the existing retreat lot, which goes all the way out to Hathaway Road. It's got 175 feet of frontage on Hathaway Road, and it comes all the way up this long neck, across this wetland, into a large parcel here, upland area, and then back to wetland again. This was approved by Fitzgerald Engineering and Bob Michelle. I looked at the plan recently. Danny had visions. His house is out here. He was going to build a house for his mom and for his son here. That hasn't really worked out for him, but there is still an existing retreat lot here. What we're doing is taking this parcel A from that long, how many acre lot is that? 16 acre lot, and going to add that parcel to the small lot at 43 Frank Street, so he conforms to the lot coverage once he puts the addition and garage on. So that's what we're here looking.
Okay, so it's just, that was an existing retreat lot then?
Correct.
Yes.
And you're just taking a small piece of it and...
Yeah, we're
putting-
not touching the frontage of anything really. It's
Okay.
Right.
just taking a triangle piece to add area to 43 Frank Street.
I mean,
Just so they can put a garage on, that's all they're doing this for?
Yeah, it doesn't meet the percentage of lot coverage, and this will make it conform.
Gentlemen, any questions?
no, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Doug,
I
you
would-
got anything on this?
No, I believe it's very straightforward. Frontages that identified for parcel, I believe 5.2, so everything
Gentlemen,
is...
is there a motion?
Motion to approve the plan as submitted.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mark, Brian, and Rick, yes. David, you out there in TV land? Guess not. With that, we do have a quorum with 3, so motion passes. Do you have the Mylar also?
Right here.
I want to keep one of these plans afterwards, okay?
You can hang on to that one if you'd like.
Okay.
Need a function plan, right?
Yeah. And you need the signatures on these.
Deborah, you also have copies of the...
Yeah, I'm also with copies of
Yeah.
those. I'll hang on to these and look at the Mylar back. And then I'll send the decision down to the town clerk's office tomorrow.
Okay. And are we still doing proof of recording and all that? Once I get it recorded, get you a
Yes,
recording
please.
slip and all that?
Yes, please. Trying to tighten up the files now.
I was a bit rusty, hasn't been here in a while.
Now we got a nice portion of it cleaned out. All the old A&Rs past 2015 are now archived, so should be in a better spot and hopefully start creating like a electronic database for everything.
I was gonna say, you guys, there's no kind of electronic database right now.
No, we're in the process of doing it. I'm trying to create like an electronic filing system where we can easily identify plans within that and then figure it out from there.
Oh, you had the gel pens have a little nub on the end sometimes to
That's the
keep them from drying out.
the marker.
If it doesn't work.
How's the boys, John?
Very good. Got my
You get out-
grandson's first birthday coming up this weekend.
Huh?
I'm a grandfather now,
Congratulations.
and it's gonna be a year old already.
You ready to hit the golf course?
I've played a couple times.
Yeah.
Not too well, but working too much. You keeping that? You want me to take it?
That'll be for you. I was gonna get you a copy of one of those just so you can take.
I can make a copy or record it. Talk my birthday.
Should be all set.
Great, thank you, gentlemen.
Have a good evening.
It was Bill.
This is a totally unrelated question to anything planning board. How often do you think you have to play a week to really, to keep on top of your game?
Golf game?
How about
Yeah, every day.
every day?
About four.
4 times a week.
4 times a week? Yeah, that sounds about right.
A lot of
I mean,
mental-
I've done a few things like that, and if I didn't do it at least 3 times a week, you lose a little bit of your timing, you lose.
Your mental memory too is,
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but just couldn't make the shots if I hadn't been practicing them diligently.
That's why you see the pros don't win it the same weekend in and out. Everyone's different.
yeah, they all go through these streaks.
That's
Where
right.
they
Good
win
days,
3 or 4
bad days.
tournaments in a row, then you don't hear from them for 3 years.
Yep.
Have a good night.
All right,
Yep.
Good night. Say hi to Jamie.
Was that your manila envelope?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, right, while Rick is signing that, we have a discussion on A&R Form A plan, access requirements. David's not here and Mark is not here.
Yeah,
Wanna Table it till next meeting?
I would like to, yeah, I would like them there when the discussion happens.
Is there a motion?
I would say that we move, or we continue the discussion on A&R access requirements to our next scheduled meeting, whenever we schedule it.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Our next meeting is next week, right?
We have a public hearing next week, and then the following week, May 5th, will be our next meeting.
I would suggest we postpone it till May 5th then.
We have, just as an update, we have a public hearing on, 3 public hearings on the 28th, and then we have 2 public hearings on the 5th, and we'll also do a meeting on the 5th.
What are the-
In preparation for
Oh,
the,
well,
What are the 2 public hearings on the 5th of May?
so we have to hold 2 public hearings for the rezoning for the 2 parcels over from the residential A to the residential village, and we have to have 2 public hearings on the large-scale moratorium, solar
Okay.
moratorium.
All right, well, that'll be the second one, so.
Yep, and then the first public hearing we have the 3. So we're gonna address the two I just mentioned. Then the third one we're gonna be talking about is a citizen's petition for the soil bylaw change. And then May 9th is town meeting. So.
So the next 2 Thursdays, we have a meeting.
Yep.
Yes.
With that, we move on to planner update, or do you have anything for mail or meeting minutes you want us to do? How do you want us to do it?
Let's just get through the planner update portion
Okay.
first, and then we can do our business at the end. So the Bradford Street rezoning, I've mentioned it before, I believe it's very straightforward. We're gonna be moving 2 parcels of land. It's map 15, lots 482 and 534, moving it from the residential A district over to the residential village district. This would allow for a potential 10 to 13 buildable lots, depending on what the wetland situation looks like in that area of town. Additionally, that part of town already has pre-existing water and sewer connects. Just identifying areas of new growth, additionally areas to create more conformity that within town in terms of zoning. And then the large-scale moratorium for ground-mounted solar arrays, I believe also very straightforward. We've had 19 approved to this point, so just trying to put some language in place for the bylaw for the town to approve at fall town meeting. Once I start having some language prepared for that, I will be sharing it with the board and also running it through town council. And then last for the planner update is a citizens petition. So there's a citizens petition that the town received to amend the bylaws, Article 9, I believe, of the soil conservation bylaw. So I believe that was pretty straightforward. I sent the board members a copy beforehand. Ultimate say is going to go to the board, the soil board, which is the board of selectmen as well. So this is mainly to gather the planning board's feedback at this point, and then once we hold a public hearing on it, the planning board will issue an opinion to the soil board.
Gentlemen, you have any discussion on, you'd like to speak on that?
No, I would, if that's something that can be sent electronically, you know,
Okay.
that would be great,
Okay.
you know, because that's something that it may take a little time to review
Absolutely.
and understand.
Brian, you got anything you'd like to say about
Is
it?
this about the soils thing?
Yeah. So the last topic is about the soil bylaw and the citizens petition we received for it.
Well, I read it. I read what I got in my packet.
Okay.
I'm not totally in favor of it. And I think part of my issue with it is I think we're just gonna be nitpicking everything in sight. And I think it's even gonna affect just a simple thing of even digging up a foundation. It's gonna be, we're gonna need a permit to do everything. We're gonna need a permit to dig a hole in your yard. That's what my take is on it. I just think
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so.
I agree with you, Brian, same thing, it's just, well, the town fathers of the soil board, there used to be a soil board, now the town fathers of the soil board. And there is a lot to it.
I mean, right now, you've got to get a stormwater permit if you disturb over 5,000 square feet.
Yep.
And
You
that's
know, I mean, a lot of the areas in town that, you know, were sand pits, I mean, when I was younger, many decades ago, you know, there were a lot of sand pits in town. There was a lot of soil removal happening.
Yep.
But those are all tapped out.
Yeah, my father, we had a sand pit behind our house. We did it for years and years and years.
So I just, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it and see what get an idea of what the intent of it is, or what we're gonna try and prevent.
Okay.
It just seems like there's a lot of regulation right now. I mean, anytime you want to do anything that's over 5,000 square feet, it's stormwater permits.
So that's going to be addressed at Springtown meeting. I know Pat's been proposing language for the soil bylaw and addressing the 5,000 square feet of coverage that would trigger the stormwater permit. Otherwise, I have read over the bylaw. I do believe it's nitpicking. It's going to lead to issues for other parts of town. It is rather specific, reading some of the language of where it's targeting. I do understand the need for it and the concern, and and the reasoning behind the adjusted language within the bylaw. There are things that need to be addressed. And I think that's going to be up to the soil board ultimately, so.
Right, right.
That's how we feel. I don't know, do you have to write a letter to the selectmen on that, or?
We're gonna hold a public hearing on it, just to gather public feedback on it, and then, from that point, I can draft a letter and then issue it to the Board of Selectmen's office. And then I understand,
I think the effect is too broad. That's what it comes down to.
no, I agree, It's very broad in terms of the language and what it would
Right.
affect, like, as you'd mentioned, like, anybody who's looking just to dig a foundation and,
Right.
and build their first home, that could negatively affect them, so.
And then to put the coverage back in the yard, and to do this and to do that, we're making it so to build a home is gonna be like insanity.
Understood.
And I just have one I was looking at here, butter in any property within 2,000 feet of the front, rear, or side property
Holy
lines.
mackerel.
It's 2,000 feet. I mean, where the butters up to 300 feet is what we've been doing. This one goes up to 2,000 feet. I think it needs,
That seems a little excessive.
yeah, it does to me. But I'm only one member, but that's,
No,
I mean, I haven't read it yet, but, assuming that it's going to affect construction of a house lot, I mean, depending on what part of Acushnet you're in, 2,000 feet could be 25% of the whole population of Acushnet that you've got to notify.
right.
Yeah, that's
With the Bradford Street rezoning that's being proposed.
well, I mean, any of the houses, any new houses up in, this more densely
Absolutely.
dense section of the town.
Because it explicitly says any removal or you putting back any, it doesn't say it has to be of X amount of capacity, it's just saying any. So to me, you're really implying a lot to anybody. You're putting a lot on everyone. I don't know,
I don't know if you want to get if there's anybody in the audience for it, or. if you
anybody
want-
pro or con would like to speak that? Out in TV land, it's just us here in the town meeting room.
Or we can wait for the public hearing next meeting, but.
Yep.
I will make sure I review it thoroughly before.
Gentlemen, this is Rob Robinson from.
You're breaking up, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Try it again, please.
Can you hear me now? It's Rob Robinson from PJ Keating.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've read it through, but anything that's 150 square feet of material would require the earth removal permit in this system, in this permit that they're talking about here. So that's 15 foot by 10 feet of material that would be on the floor that would have to be moved, i.e. you could dig into it, you would require an earth removal permit.
The board, I think the board understands where you're coming from. I mean, if I want to put in a driveway to my house, it's going to trigger the.
You're exactly right. It's going to hit every person who's doing whatever they're doing to their properties. I mean, from the Keating point of view, yes, it hits us. But I just want people to understand, if you want to put a sand pit in your backyard, this document is going to make you go through 2,000 feet away from your property for every abutter.
Okay, anybody else? We understand where you're coming from, sir.
Yeah, we'll have a public hearing for it. And
Yeah, what's the date? What's the date of the public hearing?
28th, and the public hearing is set at 7:30 for the discussion on the citizens petition.
On the next meeting. the
Yeah,
28th.
I would make a recommendation that somebody from PJ Keating come to that 28th meeting, for the official public hearing of the bylaw.
Will that be a Zoom meeting also?
No, it's going to be in person only.
Okay.
There was an error in paperwork on my end of things, so.
Anybody else in TV land out there like to speak for or against?
Okay.
With that, thank you for your time. Moving on. Where are We took care of Bradford, we took care of Morrisburg, took care of citizens.
We've got mail, I don't know if you wanna go through any of the mail. One of it's, planning board notices from,
Other
surrounding.
towns, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the borders of our town, correct?
I mean, everything that we receive is on the border of our town. Not like
No.
directly on the border. Nothing that we necessarily have to be significantly concerned about.
That's good.
And then last point of business is the meeting minutes from the last meeting.
Let's see, minutes from March 24th, 2022. Gentlemen, I don't know if you had an opportunity to read them.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from, what's the date?
March
March
24th,
24th,
March 24th, 2022.
March 24th, 2022.
I wasn't at the last one, so.
So you won't be able to vote on
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
it. So we're not going to be able to vote on these at
Yeah,
this
you
meeting.
can.
Well, we don't have a quorum.
Unless-
I wrenched my knee for the last one. This is actually the first day since then that I haven't worn my knee brace, to tell you the truth.
Getting old, Rick.
It's not fun.
Well,
It's not fun.
So
talk to Doug about knees, he'll tell you about knees.
We had a little discussion.
nice conversation. What is it? So, well, meeting minutes, I know we had talked about the Mullins rule where you can come in and vote on something if you've attended a certain number of meetings for a topic.
Just wait till the next meeting and when the other two
Okay.
guys are here, and, that should take care of it just
Okay.
fine.
Other than that, that wraps up everything I have discussed at this point. Any new information I'll be passing along to the board. I know there's some conversation about getting the master plan underway to get it renewed. I have some concerns with that, concerns about funding and where the town's gonna be securing funding from. And I know Serpent already has a 1 to 2 year wait list right now to do any master planning work on their end of things, so.
Let's get on the list and we'll worry about it in a couple
Well,
of
I was
years.
talking to Doug, on that. The last one I think cost 20 grand, you're saying this one's gonna cost in the
If-
vicinity of 60 and up?
So I've talked to a few other planners around the South Coast, and Rochester's actually in the process of redoing theirs at the moment through Serped. And roughly right now for RFPs around Massachusetts, it's looking about 90 to 180,000 for a 1 to 2 years worth of work on a master plan, which is, I mean, a wish list for all intents and purposes.
Unless, and I may be being a little pragmatic about it, but if we look at the previous master plan and we look at what has happened since that was instituted, I would like to see what, if any, effect that master plan had on development.
No, absolutely.
I mean, from what
That was
I
a 10-year master plan, correct?
Yeah, so the one we had is a 10-year one, and it was completed in 2008. There were a few items, a number of things within the master plan that weren't accomplished. I think what the town would be advantageous for the town to be looking at is just a down and dirty update of it, targeting the things that we want to continue for the next 10 years.
I'd like to see what has happened because of that master plan in those 10 years.
Okay.
My pragmatic view of it is that unfortunately, dollars drive development. And if somebody can make some money on it, that's what happens. If nobody can make any money on it, well, then nothing happens.
Absolutely.
And in short of an influx of cash from the town coffers or something like that to, physically change something. But
Absolutely.
I would like to see what happened as a result of the last master plan.
Okay.
What changes happened in town?
Okay.
And in all honesty, probably that does make the most sense, is just to look at an update on what was done before.
Yeah, I think like doing the update would make us eligible now for applying for various different grants. So that's been the overall focus right now, is just doing down and dirty update to make us eligible to apply for grants.
And that would be one thing to look at too. Well, what grants did we get?
No, absolutely.
Based on, over the last 10 years, that that required that we have that master plan. If it was $30,000 worth of grants and it's 180 grand to do a new master
That's how- yeah,
plan, well, then that doesn't make too much sense to do a new master plan, or even 100,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, to do a $100,000 master plan, to get $30,000 or $40,000 worth of grants, well, let's save the money and just
Pay for it.
Let's cut a check for 40 grand and save 60.
No,
You know, that's maybe a little too simple a way to look at it.
No, I'll start
But-
putting together more research. I know I'm supposed to meet with Pat next week, and we're gonna really start combing through everything. I've been reading through it on the nights I have free time. So, more information I can put together and send out kind of a briefing to the board
I mean,
members.
and when I look at, and again, this is very surface, but when I look at the last 10 years, we've been inundated with solar arrays.
Mhm.
Certainly something needs to be done on that. You know,
Well, that's a green thing. You were telling, as you were speaking before, Massachusetts, we couldn't deny solar.
no,
correct?
but certainly we can look at it a little more closely
Absolutely.
and maybe make it not so easy to get all these approvals that just hang out there that nobody does anything with.
Right.
The way I look at it is we can't say no, but we can tell them exactly the way we want it to look like it being in our community.
And that means that hey, a 10-foot high berm,
Mhm.
you know, loamed and seeded,
Yep.
you know, let it grow up. You know, that I can see. That, I mean, in terms of new commercial development in town over the last 10 years, they're building it now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
That's ours.
that's pretty much the commercial development in town in the last 10 years,
True.
is that convenience store.
Absolutely.
True.
Oh, and all that stuff down there where Titleist used to be.
Titles used to be.
The Acushnet factory.
Yeah, down at the
On
bottom of
Slocum
Slocum,
Road.
on the left.
I mean,
Yeah, they haven't really, yeah.
nothing's really happened there, though. You know, I mean, I'm just,
They built a storage area
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
all that complex, but that's about it.
yeah, I mean, that's a pretty, even if you include that, that's
Yeah.
still not like a gangbusters bunch of,
That's right.
commercial development.
But I that's another area that I'm going to actually be relying on board members for. Is we need to start targeting areas for commercial development.
Absolutely. We need an industrial park inside this town.
It's,
Yeah, I mean, some sort of development at this point, it would be beneficial for the taxpayers of the town, and at least it'll be some additional revenue coming in. So,
it's something to look at. You know, we've got a very, in terms of an industrial park, they want truck access right off the highway, close.
Yep.
You know, so they don't have to run trucks through residential areas.
Well, I'm
I'm
looking
just-
at a more light industrial instead of, you know,
It's,
Well, we got that on Nice Lane.
right. That's what I'm, you know, something more on that kind of a condo garage type of thing where, you know, small
There-
businesses can get it.
there's certainly different things that are out there. Whether there's the economic desirability of doing them in Acushnet is another story
Right.
altogether.
Like you
I
said,
mean,
being off the main highway.
I spent 23 years permitting big commercial developments. I mean, if you want retail, you've got to have traffic that goes by the front of the place, period. Well, we got our convenience store, and we got our Dunkin' Donuts, you know, that creates its own traffic issues. But that's where the traffic is to attract retail type of developments. An industrial park, again, people are moving things, or like Amazon, they're distributing things.
Mhm.
They want to be close to the highway, so they don't have to run trucks through residential areas, because if you want to get an army of people up against you, start running trucks through residential areas.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, PJ Keating, I mean, a lot of that heads out down towards Route 240 and the highway there. And that's not an ideal run for an industrial area. I don't know, we'll see. Not to be a naysayer, but, you know, typically when when Flatley looked at retail developments, there were a bunch of developers that made the mistake of building a building, and they found out that the retailers weren't interested in going there. And I actually saw more than one that were built, never occupied, and demolished.
Kidding me.
If the retailers want to be there, they are knocking at your door. They've got groups of people that are just looking for new locations. And you've got to secure them first before you even think about building a building. And it's high traffic areas. Our roadway system in town is like separated from the rest of the state of Massachusetts.
Mhm.
You know, no one goes to and from anywhere through Acushnet, except down Lake Street for some reason. But anyway, it's
And where do we all
tough.
live?
It's tough to attract people that will pay you rent for building space. Period. You know, whether it's an industrial user or a retail user or an office user.
Okay, with that,
Sorry.
anything? No, that's good. It was a great discussion, Rick.
Wouldn't you say that stuff on Nines Lane, that was put there in the last 10 years?
Yep.
He is doing work over there right now too.
What's
So that was commercial, there's commercial
Putting a
property,
few
that's
commercial
commercial
That's,
property.
that's not commercial, that's industrial.
Industrial, yeah.
Industrial commercial.
Yeah, but more targeted towards the main street area over here.
Yeah.
Just identifying areas, and then the state currently owns Main Street, so retaining ownership from the state, and then being able to reconfigure what Main Street looks like to create more of a community center.
Right.
And the combination of the community center over here, and also having Pope Park, Acushnet Creamery, everything else that's right down the street over here, could create a very nice community atmosphere. So.
Guys all set?
I'm
With
okay.
that, our next meeting will be the 28th of April, 6:30 PM.
That's gonna be a public hearing. Our next meeting is gonna be May 5th.
Oh, that's just a public hearing?
Just public hearing on April 28th, and then we'll have the meeting May 5th.
So our next regular meeting will be May 5th at 6:30.
There we go.
With that, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, folks. Have a great night.